I can't draw, or at least I didn't think I could. I always thought that there were two types of people in this world, ones who could draw and then ones who couldn't, and I thought I fit into the latter. But it's not as simple as that, because being able to draw is like any other skill that takes time, effort, and consistency. And I've always loved art, or at least looking at art, and I thought that's all I would ever be, just an observer and not actually being able to create it, because I thought it just had to do with talent. But I was very wrong. I think like many others, PewDiePie's video actually inspired me to try and learn, but seeing his art progression made me sort of realize like this is something where even I think I could do as well. And I originally wasn't going to make a video on this. I was planning to just have it be a challenge and sort of see where I was at after 30 days. But I learned a lot this past month, and I kind of wanted to share that and show you my experience with it. So let me show you what I've done. Okay, this is where it all started. Mind the hands, salad fingers. My mom actually got me this years ago, back in like, I think junior high, and I just never used it. So prepare to have your eyes start to bleed. So day one, not great, but I knew I couldn't draw a face, so I was just thinking, okay, let me draw Spider-Man. I didn't know really what to draw. Drew a hand as well, stick figure, classic, and then also a body. Day two over here, more Spider-Man faces, but I started to notice that I was curving the eye. So I was thinking, instead of trying to do Spider-Man, let me try and start doing Venom instead. You can see this from like his tongue and everything. So yeah, I even tried to do an arm. I don't know what the circles were. I think I was trying to like make the proportion of the arm correct, but Day three, just did more Venom. Tried to add more of the tongue and his teeth as well. I don't know what that is. Uzumaki. Yeah, try to do eyes as well. Not great, but humble beginnings. And then day four, still the same old thing. I tried to do a body. Absolutely horrendous, but you know, barely drew anything. Yeah, I'm not proud of this day. Probably in my top 5 worst days of this entire challenge. I didn't know how to do a guideline properly. I just thought it was a circle and then you fit everything in that circle with the lines, but I learned it's not really like that. What is this? Oh my gosh. Day 6, did it again. Some more eyes, more Spider-Man Venom. This, for some reason, I was thinking of like The Dark Knight. So I put like, why so serious? Try to give him a Joker smile. This, I think, is like probably my worst day ever. At this point, I was very much contemplating on just giving up, and I didn't want to draw. I was tired. I have the Daily Bugle Lego set behind me, so I wanted to draw that. This is pretty pathetic. But then day 9, we made a turn. I actually searched up for a tutorial. Yay, first tutorial. It was Sam Does Art. I think one of his tutorials. I didn't even finish it. His jaw's way too big over here. I did this and I was actually kind of cool with how it looked. I then tried to go into the deep end and start doing references straight away. And that's what I did. This is Denji from Chainsaw Man. This is terrible. But this one I was actually really happy with at the time. His hair was really tricky for some reason. Even now I still don't think I can do hair as good. But, you know, I was still happy with it. And I will preface this by saying at this point, I stopped having like a 10-minute rule, and I just told myself, let me at least draw a minimum of one thing, regardless of how long it took to just draw one thing. This next one, I was very meticulous with how I drew this. This is Andy from Undead Unluck. I should have done his neck as well, but for the most part, I was happy with it. Little Yuji. I like these sort of like chibi ones from JJK, so I didn't do a face this time. I just wanted to try a bunch of different eyes found on Pinterest. This one was kind of like an original design, but then when I finished it, I thought it looked like this one Pokemon. It's a grass type. I forgot her name. Slivia? Slytherin? Oh, that's Harry Potter. I still really enjoyed doing these. These two were like my own sort of designs I did. And then next day, I did another reference. of Mr. Boom Boom Dynamite. I really liked drawing him because his hair is straight and it's just a bunch of like V's, if you will, or like triangles, half finished triangles. So it was pretty simple to actually draw his hair. Even when I was drawing though, I knew his eye was way too wide over here, and I told myself I would fix it later. I just never did. But he was fun. He was good. Over here on day 14, this mob, I cannot do his chin because it's so rounded, and I also made his face a bit too wide, so it just didn't end up looking all that good. I even tried doing shading for the hair, not great either. But this Bakugo is also the first drawing I did without using any guidelines, because I was confused on how to use a guideline for the side of the face or like a side profile. So I was just thinking, okay, let me just draw straight from the reference, and I thought it turned out pretty all right. And then for day 15, just more references and everything. I shouldn't have like tried to darken the outline of his hair because it just makes everything else not look that good. His hair was bad as well. I couldn't do it. Another UG for day 16. Enjoyed this as well. This day for day 17, I don't think I actually had that much time to draw, so I wanted to do something really quick before I went to bed. This was actually my mood. I was so tired and done with everything. I just wanted to get something done. So just quick little scribbles. And then day 18 is probably one of my more favorites. He was really fun to draw because his face is like very sharp and he just has straight lines everywhere. So it was pretty simple and everything. His hair over here though, I messed up on, and I tried to fix it, but I just let it go. And look, I did a hand. Yay. And then day 19, another Nanami. This was fun. And then Sukuna. This was abysmal. In the actual reference, he's very like rough looking, so I don't mind it not looking clean. I was trying to do like a quick sketch of it, but for example, his mouth, I messed up because he has too big of like a gap in there. So yeah, not the greatest, but still enjoyed it. Then day 20 did Spider-Man. I noticed though that when I finished drawing him and I stepped back, I noticed his traps were way too big. His chest was too huge. His face was like fine, but it's just his body was too big. Even in the reference, he's supposed to be like, I think this big or that wide. So yeah, I enjoyed this day. Day 21 is also another one of my more favorites. When it comes to Bleach characters, the side of their face and their jaw is like really long, and I didn't capture that well here, but I kind of didn't mind that. I really enjoyed it. It was really fun. Day 22, another one of my more favorited ones. He was actually a lot more fun drawing than I thought, because I was thinking with like the characters that are from Dandadan, the eyes are like really big. So I was thinking it's gonna have more detail, therefore a higher chance of me like messing it up. But he was actually really fun to draw. So yeah, I like this one. This one, it was great. And then day 23, it was the finale of Arcane. This is Echo. This fan art actually. Yeah, he was really fun to draw. His ear though, I feel as if so could have been a bit more like here instead of so low into the side. So yeah, his ear I think I messed up on. His face could have been a bit more actually diagonal like that, but still, I really enjoyed it. Day 24, I tried to change it up where what my goal was for today, or for this day, was to just draw as fast as I could without trying to care too much about accuracy or trying to make it perfect or anything. I just drew as quick as I could. So yeah, this is probably one of my worst ones. What is that hat? I'm telling you, I'm so scared of hats. I need to actually start to try and do them a bit more, but yeah. Fuko from Undead Unluck as well. She's a great character, so yeah. And then I did another Dandadan character. I really liked drawing her, and then I only noticed that it wasn't that good until after I completely finished. Her jaw felt weird. This side of the face doesn't feel correct, but I was already done, so I was like, you know what, it's fine, it's all right. I still like it. These next 2 days in my top, I would say like 4 top 3 worst days. Maybe top 2 actually instead. Day 26, I was panicking and I thought I wasn't actually getting good. For some reason, I couldn't get his forehead correct. I think it's mainly because of like his eyebrow ridge I didn't do correctly and I messed up everywhere else, but gave up. And then I just put down the pencil. Not proud of this one. This is day 27. I should be doing better than this. What is this? I tried to do the same thing of trying to make it like a quick drawing. Don't know why this late in the game I thought that. Why is his arm so thin? And his arm is so bulky here. His neck is so tiny for the shirt. Oh man, not great. Day 28. Utoji, when he was possessed. I actually really like this one. I didn't do too well with his jaw and his chin primarily, but it was okay. He was actually really fun to draw, but yeah, his eye is like too high up. This was a hand I think that was pretty okay. And then this next one, it's probably my absolute favorite. I don't know how I did this. Obviously, this is a reference. I didn't do this myself. Duh. After doing the original sketch, I wanted to emphasize it and make it like look better. So I thought, okay, let me ink it. I took the longest with him because I wanted him to look good. So I was very patient, but I was very stupid because when I started inking, I used this pen to ink all this. This was probably the worst choice to ink because it's black everywhere. Like what? I inked all this with just this pen. And then I realized, hold on, why am I not using a marker or something that's like thicker and it'll get everything done quicker? But I don't have any black markers, so I just use a Sharpie. That's why it's a bit like lighter black. I really enjoyed this. This was fun. But it's also not perfect either. Like for example, the glasses isn't that circular over here. I should have added his frame on this side. For the most part, I really liked it. It was fun. And then day 30, what is this? I felt like a fraud. I was really disappointed because I thought for these ones, my idea was to try and draw something from my own imagination. No reference, no nothing. So yeah, these aren't that good. I tried to draw my cat as well. This one for day 30 still not that great. But even when I felt down and disappointed in myself, I remember seeing other artists on YouTube and whatnot say that when you first start out drawing, you're not really going to be able to make anything from your own imagination that well, because an artist's mind is kind of like a library or like a data bank, where when you have so much experience drawing for years and years on end, you'll have so many references kind of just stored in your brain that you can pluck from, kind of make your own sort of creation. I don't know why I expected to draw this in 30 days from my own head. That's probably not that likely. So I was still disappointed with it, but that kind of allowed me to not be too hard on myself, because I thought, okay, even after 30 days, I still don't have that big of a library of references, right? Because I only started using references on maybe like day 10 or something. So yeah, still not the best, but I was a bit disappointed. However, I then did another one I thought turned out actually a lot better. It's not perfect either. Like for example, his eyes are too far apart maybe, but I still really liked it. And I started to notice the whole like library sort of thing in your head of past references, because I was drawing his ear over here similar to how I did Dandadan characters like Okaru and Momo, and also the eyebrows as well. But primarily everything else I kind of just did by myself. So I was actually really happy with how this turned out. So yeah, that's the sketchbook, and hopefully more to come. I learned a lot throughout this whole process, primarily patience, not just for being patient for 30 days and then seeing how it ends up, but even in the middle of me drawing something. When I speed through it and try and draw it quickly, it obviously doesn't turn out that well. But when I'm a bit more patient, I take my time, I'm a lot more careful, that's when the end result looks a way that I would want it to. Groundbreaking, I know. I think I've always known that progression wasn't a straight line, but this really proved it to me, because there would be my highs of being proud of a piece that I would do, and then the lows of being frustrated and wanting to quit, but not quitting. Like I said, PewDiePie's video inspired me, so maybe if you're watching this might inspire you to get started, because you could probably draw as well. You just don't think so yet, but you probably can. It just takes a bit of consistency and effort and time. And even now, I can't say like I'm this profound artist, but I feel as if I continue to stick with it, this can be something that I can have as a skill. And to any artists that could be watching, if you have any sort of feedback or any sort of tips at all, I would love to hear it. Tell me what you thought about this whole sort of process. And maybe I might make another video in the future to see where I'm at, to sort of compare it to now and see where else I could go as well. So yeah, thanks for watching.